What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Pandemic Update for Tuesday, May 30th, 2023. Hopefully, everyone is staying safe and healthy. And if you had to take a COVID test, hopefully you tested negative. But I do know I've been getting comments. I've been seeing stuff on Twitter, Facebook, even. A lot of people are testing positive right now. We're clearly entering the XBB 116-XBB 2.3 wave, and hopefully you have a full and speedy recovery with no long COVID issues. First, we're going to do India and the news, and then today we are going to add in the Walgreens update within this video. It's very jumbled on Walgreens, but we'll show the national and we'll show some states. We're not going to show all states, just some states. So let's start off here with India, where they have reported 224 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours and just one death today. We're going to continue to do India at the start of these videos for as long as India updates. And some days they don't update. We didn't have an update yesterday, and I'm assuming these numbers do not include the numbers that we saw on Sunday or Monday. All right, this is in Connecticut now. Yes, you're reading the headline correctly. Masking, testing, return to parts of the state capitol building as COVID-19 positive cases rise. And they say these measures will be revisited on Thursday. Hello. This wave is not going to be over with on Thursday. They should just be masking anyhow. But if you want to go this route, at least do it for 2 to 3 weeks, if not 1 month. All right, moving on to this. Yes, drop out of Boston Calling. Dropkick Murphys added. This is basically part of a concert, and that's going on in Boston for, I believe it's going to be, or it was, excuse me, I believe it was last Friday. They had a concert, and they couldn't perform because of an illness. And they had headliners for the Foo Fighters, so it was a Foo Fighters concert. And moving on to our next story, look at this. Poultry worker with bird flu traveled to Scotland while positive, sparking warning of a potential disaster. This is ridiculous. So now, not only do they travel around while COVID positive, there was actually a report on Inside Edition yesterday. It was a repeat about people coughing and sick while on planes. And now you're talking about bird flu? This is ridiculous. Absolutely. Bird flu is way more deadly than coronavirus, and we know that because there haven't been a lot of human cases, but the ones that we have seen show a higher death rate than COVID. So this is absolutely ridiculous that someone even did that. But you know what? It's a sign of the times. We just recently saw someone with measles out in Seattle, I believe it was, or something out in Seattle, where they did not want to quarantine. So it's absolutely ridiculous. Excuse me, that may have been tuberculosis. There was a person in Seattle that was refusing to quarantine while being infected with a virus. You can go back to one of our videos from last week. I'm sure we reported on it. And look at this. COVID-19 can cause new cholesterol problems. What to know? It says, not long after the start of the global coronavirus pandemic, it was apparent that many people infected with SARS-CoV-2 were developing persistent and, in some cases, debilitating health problems. And I don't need to read anymore. This is just another in one of the long, lengthy list of problems that can be caused by COVID. I mean, headaches, muscle pain, joint pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, diabetes, heart problems, strokes, blood clots. I mean, the list goes on. And this is just something else being added to this list of things that can happen from this virus. All right, moving on to this. More news about Spain. 2 men were reinfected with monkeypox in Spain after both previously infected and vaccinated against the disease. So this is relatively concerning. Monkeypox. Sounds like it doesn't like immunity too well, because that's double immunity right there, folks. Vaccinated and previously infected, and yet they still tested positive. Hopefully, they're not having a rough time with it. We'll have to see if anything more comes out about this one. It's something we'll be watching. Alrighty, let's get to the national and state by state Walgreens update. The national positivity this week is 22.4%. Last week was 24.2%. How about that? The numbers reversed. That's a difference of down by 1.8%. Total test, 2,618. Prior week, 3,175. And you can see here on the chart, I'll zoom it in, it is dropping some. Now you're going to see some states that are red that are dropping, some that are green that are rising. I'll explain kind of what that means. I think I'm starting to figure it out now. If we go to Maine here, Maine's blank. I believe New Hampshire's blank. And if we go over here to Vermont, Vermont is blank as well. But when we come down here to New York State, you'll see here the positivity is 29.2%. The prior week is 25%. So it is rising slightly. Plus, we do have an increase of 1 in testing, 89 versus 88. Nonetheless, this is a legitimate rise, and if you think about it, come on, New York State has millions of people. 20 million people live in the New York City metro area. Just 89 tests. That's ridiculous, but it's a sign of the times. It shows how many people cannot afford to get a test, or they're just simply not getting tested at all. Connecticut, it's coming up as rising. And the reason why is at one point during the week last week, if you look here, it was slightly rising. You can see that here. It was slightly rising. Therefore, it's showing up red. I'm assuming that's what it means, but it's actually down quite a lot. 4.8% this week, 13% the previous week. That's down by 8.3%. 21 versus 23 tests. But remember, we just read a story at the beginning of this update today that Connecticut is seeing rising cases. So we're not going to really agree with this drop in positivity, and don't use that by any means to judge, oh, positivity is dropping in Connecticut, it's safe. No, don't assume that. New Jersey, it's showing up red, but again, look here, look at the chart. Yes, it did go up at one point, but now it's starting to drop. 17.9% this week, 18.3% last week. That's a difference of down 0.4%. Let's go out west to California. California, this is relatively concerning. 34.2% this week. Prior week, 28.5%. That is up by 5.7%. It is legitimately rising. But look at the tests. 257 versus 347. Yes, testing is low. But you know what? In this case, given their positivity has been high for so long, I think it's a testing issue. Plus, you probably do have quite a few cases. Let's go to the Northwest Pacific. 17.8% this week in Washington State. 21.6% the previous week. That's a difference of down 3.8%. So you can see here, though it's going down, it's starting to rise again. Next week should show up as rising, and you can see here it is red on the map. So it's starting to rise. 45 tests versus 51. I'm going to call it a legit rise despite this decrease that's showing up here. So eventually, this 17.8% will probably end up going higher because look where it was just a couple days ago. It was at 15.9%. Now it's 17.8%. So technically, it is rising. I know, this is all very confusing. And now you see here, I just went to Louisiana. Oh, but it's dropping on the chart data report. I know it's dropping. But look, 11.1% versus 4.3%. That's because last week it peaked. Prior to this update, it peaked at 14.3%. So technically, week over week, yes, it is higher, but it is now lower than where it was in the middle of last week. Does that make any sense? 6.8% increase from the previous update. Total test 18 and prior week 23. I think I've confused you all enough here. We'll look at a little bit more Walgreens tomorrow. Let's move on. We have nothing to report on today in pandemic history, or pandemic COVID history. Wastewater, we don't really have anything to report on here. There's no updates. We don't get them till the end of the week. Taking a look here at the latest variants, XBB.1.5 is in the lead at 53.8%, XBB.1.16 is at 15.1%, and XBB.2.3 is at 4.8%. Let's take a look at New Jersey. New Jersey did not update on cases yet, but hospitalizations are at 150, which is the same amount from yesterday. I'm going to refresh this as we are recording here because that's the same number. It did not update every time. Nope, still no update. So we're getting nothing from New Jersey. And there is something I want to draw to your attention here. They actually show number of hospitals reporting. So 52 out of 70. If the total number were reporting, I would suspect it would be probably over 200. We don't know where in the state those hospitals are actually from. Yes, I guess I could change it to different regions. In the ICU, we have 21 people in the ICU over in the state of New Jersey. B&O weekly update, 60,351 new cases. The average is 67,164. That's down by 8,940. States reporting, 32 out of 50. Here's the concerning number. Out of that, you have 8 states not reporting. Hospitalizations still did go up. 11,172. 421 increase. ICUs are down by 92. 1,583. New deaths, 1,397. The average is 1,260. And that is up by 51. So the average deaths went up and hospitalizations went up. That is not good to see. Taking a look at my city, Philadelphia, 702 EMS incidents yesterday. Anything over 700 I consider to be a busy day. The real concerning level is when we go over 800. Let's just take a look at the suburban Philadelphia counties. And you can see here Montgomery County, we got some cardiac issues going on, some seizures, unconscious person, accidents, the normal stuff. But we come over here to Chester County, and it's been a really busy day today. Look at this. Heart problems, stroke, sick person, respiratory difficulty, heart problems, and some other stuff mixed in. So, yeah, it's the day after a holiday weekend, so that qualifies for it to be a busy day. Taking a look at New York State, 321 new cases. The most important number here out of those cases is, look at this, 5.1% positivity. Positivity continues to rise. 7-day average is now up to 3.7. I suspect both of these numbers will continue to rise. Hospital admissions in New York State are flat to slightly rising. And when we take a look at the current hospitalizations, they did drop at the end of last week. We did not get the start of this week's update. Didn't think we would. We probably will tomorrow. 540 hospitalizations at the end of last week. 51 people in the ICU. All right, let's take a look at some international data. And on the international standpoint, we do see here South Korea cases are down 12%. They are also down 5% on deaths. France cases are up 151%. Deaths are still down 15%. I suspect that will change pretty soon. Russia, I don't know what's going on here. 1.7 million% increase. That's clearly a glitch. Again, I have said several times before, some of these percents you cannot go by, but some of them you can legitimately use. Like, for example, Indonesia cases are down 9%, and deaths are up 34%. Then you have Romania, cases down 63%, deaths down 78%, and Guatemala, cases are up 37%, deaths are up 100%. Belgium, cases up 14%, deaths are up 117%. All right, finally, taking a look at my website, datareport.info. As you can see here, we finally have categorized the COVID studies and papers. There's still some more that I need to go through in here and check and see if they should have their own section, but that will probably eventually be called, miscellaneous COVID studies and papers. We have COVID effects on heart, COVID effects on the brain, long COVID studies. Let me know in the comments down below, or shoot me a Twitter message. Do you want me to add anything else to this section? And do you think there should be anything else added to the site? It's totally up to you guys. This site is not only just about me wanting to archive and document all this stuff so it's easy for you to find, but it's about you guys. It's about helping people find the information they need to find in a timely manner and as easy as possible. Because as we all know, the media, the government, the CDC, all around the world, all these agencies, they make it so hard to find stuff. I want you to be able to find the information that you need to know in a, timely manner right here on my website at datareport.info. Alrighty, folks, that does it for today's pandemic update. Hopefully this was helpful to you today. Hopefully everyone stays safe. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel down below. If you want to see the weather forecast or anything related to the weather, I have a second channel just for that. The link to that is down below as well at Climate Data Report. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. I'll see you all again next time. Until I see you again next time, stay safe everyone.